to podcasts of things that interest me. So that's just three of my 42. So in any or all that you want to share, it's your list. But I want you to just kind of take a deep breath before you read it. And I want you to read it out loud with conviction. Okay? Let's think about this. How would this, no, I think you need to use the word I. And I want you to take your time. You're not just reading through this. I want you to really read it slowly, out loud, with conviction, and think about what you're saying out loud. Okay? All right, whenever you're ready.
One of the big ones that I have is I've written nearly 30 essays and 30 different essays in JTT.
Wow.
I don't know if that number is higher or low. I'm thinking it's higher than that, but that's just kind of a
Wow. And this is in your in this year. In this school
it's just
year.
this year.
Wow. My goodness. That's a lot of writing. So what does that do for you, having written so much?
That's definitely helped to improve my essay writing skills,
Yeah.
which I'm extremely grateful for.
Yes. Yes. That's amazing. So how did you feel when you were having to write all those essays? What were some of those feelings that you had when you were having to write so many essays?
At the time, I wasn't as happy and thankful for it, but I've realized now that it's really a great skill to have, being able to write an essay well.
Yes.
I'm really starting to see the not the usefulness, the
fruits of
why
it.
it's good to have it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's great. And that is going to be a life skill that you're going to be really appreciate, to be able to articulate yourself.
Mm.
Obviously, you have the articulation skills to verbally articulate yourself, but to be able to express yourself in writing and well and clear is amazing. And so all that practice has really paid off. So congratulate yourself for successfully. I mean, that would be a key word. Successfully, because your classmates have written 30 essays, but what if they made like C's and D's or turn them in late, or they whatever, do you know? So you successfully completed 30 essays in JTT. And what would be an adverb? I guess it's an adverb that you, in terms of, and I successfully completed 30 essays and blank improved my writing skills. What would be that word you would put in there?
I used greatly.
Greatly. Okay. Did you write that down? Is that what you said? Greatly? Okay, great. Okay. Great. Okay. Go ahead. What's the next thing we can acknowledge yourself on?
Another thing was CAP was one of the big ones. I think going out and trying something new is really paying off. I'm glad that I decided to do it. It's really been paying off.
Wow. So I decided. So if we put it in a sentence form that starts with I, how would you do that? Or I joined or whatever.
I joined.
Okay.
I started with I joined and then carried it on.
Okay. I want to hear it. I want you to read it out loud.
I have started to form close friendships with the other kids in CAP, which was one of the big ones. That's making new friends, which here of lately hasn't been as easy, and I'm glad that I found them. It's also that was with my relationships. I have become.
That's hard to say. Been becoming?
I've been getting closer with my friends in JTT here lately also.
Wow. What do you attribute that to?
Our table, we're we're all we're all very similar, and it's been nice having them to kind of lean on when it comes to JTT.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they really helped, at least really helped me through the year.
So you formed what we call a community, your
Yes, ma'am.
own little support community of support. How does that feel to have a community of support?
It's, for lack of a better, it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have. It's nice to have someone that's has your back when it comes to the class.
Yeah, yeah, and to be able to trust and count on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does that make you feel about establishing future communities and things that you're working on from now till, well, forever, really?
I definitely see the usefulness of having a group of people that all work together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's some people that don't get along and work well in groups.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn how to do that now. That is great. That's great for you. Okay. What else?
The next one was I have for physical. I have come a long way in the shaping my body to get it where I want it.
And describe kind of like, are you stronger? You have more endurance? I mean, what kind of things, general things?
Comes to getting stronger. Getting stronger was the biggest thing, and
Yes.
I've really noticed improvements.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. And how does it make you feel? Good is not the word.
Mm-hmm.
How does it make you feel to be stronger? What does that make you feel when you're feeling strong? How does that make you feel about yourself? In other words,
Empowered.
empowered. I love that word. Yeah. Empowered to do like what?
To keep going,
To keep going,
to push harder.
to push harder. To push harder in what ways?
Even in just running for longer, higher weights, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. What about maybe some other areas? Does it empower you in any other areas when you feel stronger physically?
I noticed that it even helps in academics. It makes feeling stronger is I'm ready. I'm ready to work, and I'm more. The drive is there.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have more of a drive.
So you have more of a drive when you're feeling stronger, and you're feeling stronger is because you've changed your exercise plan, your physical, what you're doing physically,
Mm-hmm.
and you've made that a priority.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. What else?
Another one I have greatly improved on my mental health from where I was in November. And that one, it's kind of emotions and mental health tie together. As I've noticed, I've been a lot happier since then, and things like that.
Okay, I want to hear more of the things like that. I'm curious. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I have become a lot happier with my life and the things that I have, which is a big one. Is I've really noticed improvements on kind of my outlook on things. That's one of the big ones. My outlook.
Yeah. Yeah. How cool is that?
That it's
That chokes me up just thinking about it. And that makes me the whole thing, it just chokes me up. So because anyway, I'm not going to go there yet. So what else? What else have you written down? I want to hear it all. I want to hear it all.
that was and the same thing. This is the same thing goes for my greatly improved emotional health.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I've come a long way with my emotions and have become more in touch with them.
Oh, mindfulness, right? Yeah. And so where would you say how would you describe your emotions before?
Before it was, I never really paid attention to it. It was just kind of another thing that I
Hmm.
pushed to the side. But
Yeah.
I've noticed or not noticed, I've seen the importance in kind of dealing with it properly.
Hmm. Hmm. And that's what you're doing now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. What else?
Mm, then I have exceeded my own expectations when it comes to my grade and academic abilities.
Hmm. Which is what were your expectations that you have exceeded? What was it originally like? I'll do this, and then how have you exceeded that? Just if you can kind of explain that to me.
A lot of it was like with my grade and how I was at the beginning. I was like, okay, I need to I just want to finish the year passing, but that turned into, okay, I need to finish this year with at least a 90, and I won't be happy with anything below that. And that's how it ended up.
That's how it ended up. So what do you know your grades yet for this semester?
Yes. Well, I haven't. They're in, but I haven't checked yet. I've
Yeah.
been putting it off.
Okay, and why are you putting off? Where's the hesitation?
It's not as much hesitation as this. I think about it, and then I'm like, I'll look. It's procrastination. I'll look at it tomorrow,
Okay, why?
and I've kept doing that.
Okay, but there's got to be an underlying reason behind the procrastination.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. So, is there a particular class you're nervous about?
Just especially with JTT, I'm there is just this tiny bit of, I guess, anxiety that's
Yes.
I didn't get to my goal,
Right. Right.
but it's that tiny bit is it's getting to me.
The tiny bit of anxiety that you're feeling is actually a boulder right now. It's a
Hmm.
boulder in the way. You're saying it's a little thing, but it's really you're making it into a boulder um by not and I understand that. So you have exceeded your expectations in JTT. Is that what you're telling me also? I mean, that's
Just
what you tell
in
me.
school in
In
general.
school in general. And you've written the 30 essays in there. You made 100 when you did your costume presentation. You made a 93, right? 93 on your massive research paper. So would you say that you've done exceptionally well in that class
I would say so.
and that you have shown up for yourself in that class?
Definitely.
No slacking.
No slacking.
So if it's an 88 or a 95, are you proud of yourself?
I still would be.
Yes. Okay.
'Cause
Okay.
I've put forth as much effort as I can in that class.
Yes. So the grade is just numbers on a paper. I understand you wanted that.
Hmm.
I get that. Okay. But the grade is really numbers on a paper. It's all that stuff that we just talked about. That's the real stuff. So think about that. As you're ready, when you're ready to look at the grade, whenever that is, and whenever that is, that's okay. Think about all that stuff that went into it and how proud you are of yourself.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So what else is on your list here?
I have how I'm really improved, or how I'm really impressed with how my essay writing abilities have improved from where they were at the beginning of the year. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and those are my big ones. Those are the important ones.
It's all important, I will say. But tell me about what is it that's made your essay writing improve besides just doing more and more writing? Obviously, practice helps us improve, right? Well, I don't know. There's some people that could just turn all their work in and they just never get better.
Hmm.
What is it that you think that you have done or thought your behavior, your new habits that you have? What have you done that you think could have contributed to you just becoming a better writer?
I know that it's been easier for me to accept like criticisms to my paper.
Wow.
I've noticed it's easier to see it and agree with, okay, I I can see that. That's a good point. Whereas before it was whatever, that's not no. I see the helpfulness of criticism now.
Criticism in general?
That's and
Constructive criticism,
yes.
like if your mom tells you some constructive criticism, or your dad or your sister, that's not academic, is that something you're more accepting of now?
I see the usefulness in it now.
Okay.
I say,
Okay.
okay, that's something I can work on. Okay.
Wow. How big of a shift is that for you?
That's that's pretty big from where I was.
Ah,
Definitely.
okay. Okay. So have you read everything that's on your sheet?
Yes. Those
Okay.
were
That's everything.
mhm.
That's a lot. So if you had to categorize like a word for each, let's say each area. Remember how we did the wheel of life?
Mhm.
So each thing was kind of like a slice of the pie. What categories would, and some things may be in multiple categories. Some things may be academic and social. So kind of looking at what you wrote down there, how would you categorize each of those elements?
Actually, since I wrote them in paragraphs, I put each of the paragraphs with the words that, those keywords.
You're so amazing. Of course you did. Of course you did. Why would I have expected anything different, right? Okay. So since you already have an A+, would you share those with me?
So for the first one, it was the academics, which
Mhm.
was talking about the paper, the costume, and then I kind of have it split up, but there was also the paper writing stuff that was all under academics.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then emotions was how I've greatly improved my emotional health
Mhm. Mhm.
and become more in touch with my emotions. My mental health
Mhm.
was becoming happier with my life and the things that I have. And then another one to throw into the academics was the 30 essays. And then relationships was I've started to form closer friendships with the kids in CAP and become closer with my friends in JTT. And then physical was the shaping of my body and keeping up with the CAP standards.
So when you're looking at that and thinking about it, what would you say to yourself?
It feels good to read these things. That's it's seeing it or hearing it in your mind and then seeing it on paper is a big difference.
Yes, it is a big difference. And so what would you say to yourself? Like when you're reading these things, you'd go like self, like, oh my gosh, you're so awesome. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like think of just what you would say and kind of try to kind of step out of yourself a little bit. Cause I know sometimes that's a little weird or uncomfortable to go, man, I'm just kicking butt with this. Right. But let's say you step outside of yourself. Okay. And you're looking at this, what would you, what was like a sentence with an exclamation point at the end? What would that sentence be?
Good job.
Good job. Good job, Jacob, right? Good job, Jacob. Wow. Yeah.
That's And that's it. Good job.
This is powerful, is it not?
It is.
Does it just kind of like, I don't know, it just like hits me literally right here. Like it kind of like almost, I can feel it and it takes my breath away. Not only when I do this, but like in hearing your list, it's like, wow, are you serious? Is this really real?
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, and this is not why I did this, but this is helpful because you see, well, actually, I'm not gonna approach it that way. I'm gonna say, let's just say I am a student at HEP and maybe even somebody in your group, and you know I'm struggling. I'm procrastinating. I'm not motivated. I'm not showing up for myself, whatever it is, low self-image, something like that. What would you tell them about life coaching, your life coaching experience, me, etc.? Pretend that I'm not the person, that I'm that person. I'm not your coach. What would you just think about some things you would tell them?
I tell them how it's really improved. It's improved on just about every aspect of my personal life, my academic life. It's really helped me see clearer, see things in a better light than as it did before. And then for the things that it's helped with, I think it's really helped mentally to kind of to clear things up. However, it's gone from just complete disarray to I know what I'm doing. I see what I'm doing now is I have control over, or I have control over the things that I do and see really. As for other things that it's helped improve with, especially with, I've noticed that even helped doing improving my physical, like the physical aspects of my life, even that has begun to leak into the emotional aspects, like working out and getting stronger has, felt more empowered. Those are those are the things that I would definitely tell somebody.
What would you say about your coach and your coach's approach and kind of how coaching works in general?
So it's very well structured and really helps to make an organization or find organization in your life.
Mm-hmm. And how would you describe what it is? Like, hey, like, what is life? How does it work? Like, if somebody said, well, give me an example of like a session, like the logistics of like, how does a session work? What do you do? I mean, you might start with like, hey, we get on a live call. How would you kind of describe just real briefly how it even like technically works?
I start off with kind of talking about any of the events that happened between the previous call and that day. Talk about that, and then kind of talk about, or once those things have been stated, kind of find a topic from one of those and break that down even further, mm-hmm. and then kind of turn that topic into a lesson.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say that your coach's style is?
Tries to break things down.
Mm-hmm. Why would somebody want to work with me instead of another coach?
I feel like your style is more, I feel like it's more unique, and it's really, at least for me personally, it's been something that I've been able to relate to, mm-hmm. and something that's really resided with me personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how would you describe that style?
It's very in depth,
Mm-hmm.
and it's while we do a lot of different things, it all ties back into one big topic, I guess.
Mm. Interesting. So you would say that coaching has worked for you?
100%.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that, because that's the whole purpose of me waking up every morning, is to have this kind of an impact. You've done the work. I've drawn it out. I've drawn things out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Ask a lot of questions, right? I'm always asking questions, and listened. And then we just work within whatever you need to work with. So would you say that, what would you say is the level of trust, the trust and privacy, et cetera, within a coaching session, if someone asked you?
I feel like everything is behind closed doors, really. There's nothing that I feel like I need to worry about other people kind of knowing about, or things like that.
Or running off and telling your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything is very one-on-one.
Yeah. So I'm curious about this, is together too. Okay. Great. Awesome. All right. So you've come miles. You've come miles and miles and miles. And the cool thing about it is, what I noticed when, because I had to be coached to become a coach. You've heard me say that probably many times.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there's things that you've changed or you've accomplished that you didn't even know that you could or that you needed to.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Like, I didn't even know that about myself. It just blows my mind. It really does. It does. Let's just say, even if I wasn't a coach, it's like, oh my gosh, this really works. And I'm continually, I have a coach. I have actually two coaches that coach me on different things. And then as a coach, you learn also how to coach yourself. Like, let's say I'm procrastinating. I have thoughts like this. Well, what would I tell Jacob if he was going through the same thing I'm doing, procrastinating and not doing this project? And I say, well, heck, I would tell him this and this and this and this. I'm like, well, why don't you just do it yourself that way? Same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of not do as I say as I do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, we're just going to do this. Yeah. And that's where the authenticity comes out. Because I've told you there's certain things that, I've struggled with or I need support in. So, okay. Thank you for sharing all of that with me, and the brag sheet and everything. And I'm so excited to see how that's made you feel, So are you still feeling tired?
Not as much. Definitely not as much.
It really gives you that surge of energy, doesn't it?
It does.
To go, wow, looking back and everything. So just that positivity really just fuels us up, right? Okay. What time do we have right now? What time is it? I'm going to go ahead and do